Hey everybody, I'm Dammian Gonzalez.
And I'm Anna Gronholm.
And we are with the IREM GA PR Committee.
Today we are sitting down with the IREM GA President for 2022, Karen Key. Karen, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to kick off this interview series with you. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
We are so excited to have you, and thank you again for meeting with us. So to get started, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the property management industry?
Absolutely. So my background on getting into property management is a little different than most people's. So I am on the multifamily side of things. That's the sector that I fall into. But I didn't start out young and as a leasing consultant in college, like most people do, and I just fell into the industry. You know, I did fall into the industry, but I fell into it as an adult. I and did hospitality administration as my degree. And so I was in restaurants and resorts as my first career choice. And then I stuck with the restaurant side, and having a 2-year-old jumping on my bed at 7 in the morning when I got home at 3 and 4 was not fun.
Oh, goodness.
Married into property management. My husband at the time was in the industry, and I saw what he did. And I was like, there's a lot of similarities between the two. It's fast paced. I don't have to sit behind a desk all day, every day. I get to interact with people. And so that was how I really found out about the industry and got into the industry. So now I've been in the industry for, I'm not going to age myself completely here, over 20 years and loving it.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. A lot of people don't realize how transferable the skills from other industries that property management has. And so it's really interesting that you found that and decided to hop on that and have been with us for however long. So that's really great. Damien, you want to hop with the second question?
Yeah, so let's go on to question 2 here. What's your favorite part about residential property management?
Ooh, there's so many things that I love. But I think my favorite part is probably what I just hit on before. I've been in the industry. I've been in my current company for 8 years. I've been at RangeWater for right at 8 years. So with this particular company, I started when we were a baby in the industry. We had about 6,000 units nationwide, and now we're pushing 68,000 nationwide. And it's really within the industry, there's so many different facets, and there's so many different avenues that you can go, that every day is a new day, not just with the challenges you face, but with the different things you get to experience and aspects of the industry you get to touch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand just about how many different career opportunities there are in property management. There's not just the property management side. There's accounting, there's marketing, there's PR. There's all these different facets that are usually in like business schools and things like that people don't really take into account when looking at property management. So that's a really good answer. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And you said that every day is different. So what had you wish you had known coming into the industry, knowing that?
One thing that it took me a long time to learn is the amount of gray area there is in the industry. Mm-hmm. I came from a very structured company and a very structured background. And I think in the beginning, I kept it too black and white. Given this industry, I think now with any customer service industry, but especially in this industry, yes, there are things that are black and white. There's fair housing, there's laws and regulations, but there is a lot of gray. One thing different coming from hospitality into property management was hospitality. You're trained, the customer is always right. The customer is always right, because you just make them happy and get them out the door, and you may or may not ever have to deal with them again. Mm-hmm. Property management, yes, the customer is always right, but not really. And sometimes you have to help them see your side of things, but do it in a tactful way. So it was learning that gray and learning how to navigate customer service to where you're keeping the fiduciary responsibility to your owners and your clients, but you're also keeping your residents happy at the same time.
For sure. It's that relationship that you have to have with your residents, and it's an ongoing thing, and you want to retain them for as long as possible. And so they have to understand what they're getting into. And it is kind of difficult with that gray area to figure out what to do in some instances. So great answer again.
I know dealing with student housing, just from my personal experience, is they don't really read the contracts. And when you're getting into a lease agreement, that was my biggest thing, is explaining to these parents and students that you are signing a contract and you are bound to the terms of that contract.
I think that's what I mean by, the customer can't always be right. A lot of times it's they don't read something, and we are regulated by laws, and you can't tell them that. You can't say, oh, it's the law, because that's just going to frustrate them. So you have to have that customer service skill to get them to see both sides, because you want it to be a win-win. Because if they're not paying their bill and leaving and maybe just never coming back, they're living there for probably at least 12 months, and you're going to see them every day.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and go on to our next question here. What are you most proud of in your career thus far?
I think mine would be all the progress that we've done at RangeWater and the growth that it's giving me within IREM. And I know we'll talk about this in a little bit too, because it's something that I wish I would have done differently. But really, it was RangeWater and getting here and building this company and trying to get it to be what it is today that pushed me to get my executive CPM, represent RangeWater so that we could be an AMO, and dive into my IREM relationship. So I think that is probably one of my biggest accomplishments that I'm most proud of.
And something we did not even touch on, but can you tell us a little bit about what you do at RangeWater?
Absolutely. So my role has evolved many times over the 8 years. Right now, I am Managing Director of Property Management for our single family rental department. So I do still have multifamily under me, but my focus for the last 2 years has been building our platform that oversees the build for rent communities that we manage. So I have that entire platform nationally that reports under me. Wow. And then I have about 4 states of multifamily that report to me.
Awesome. Incredible. You're doing a lot at RangeWater, and I know I've talked to a bunch of you at RangeWater, and you're talking about all of this growth. And so next, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what does the growth in your position look like at RangeWater? You kind of touched on this a little bit.
No, yeah. So it's crazy, because I couldn't have told you this is where I was going to be 5 years ago. RangeWater has a goal of 5 and 5 and wanting to be the top 5 in 5 years. I think we're about 2.5 years into that 5-year goal now. And, my goal is, honestly, I don't see myself leaving RangeWater. So everything I think of is within here and continuing to grow. And we want to be the size we are in the Southeast and the Southwest. So it's really continuing to push this platform with single family. I'm loving watching it grow and develop. It's something that has really hit the industry fast and furious over the last couple of years, especially in the Southeast. It's been in the Southwest for a couple of years, but not to this magnitude. And really continuing to hone in on this platform and build it and have it be something just as large as our multifamily platform is in the Southeast and the Southwest across our national footprint.
And what have been some kind of growing pains, I guess, or growing challenges that you've encountered with, because you're, I guess, halfway through that 5 for 5. So how has that looked like for you?
It's interesting. So if you think about what I'm saying, we're halfway in. And so we announced wanting to be 5 and 5, and then COVID hit. So I would say one of the biggest challenges we've had during this growth period, it's been tremendous. Our on-site teams and our home office teams came together and operated so flawlessly as we had to go virtual and as we had to go online, that it caused some of our clients that were working with multiple management companies and clients that we weren't even working with yet, they flocked to us. So we grew tremendously in the midst of COVID. And I would say that was probably one of our biggest growing pains, is recruiting and hiring talent and onboarding talent and getting them to be completely engaged with the company at a time where we couldn't even fly to bring them to us. We couldn't fly to go meet them, because we all know that recruiting top talent right now is everyone's biggest struggle. It's, it's a limited resource and we're all fighting for the same people, but trying to do it and trying to take over all these communities when you can't send takeover teams, you can't send support out, and figuring out how do we instill our culture and what these teams mean to us when we can't visit them face to face.
And what tips and tricks did you guys instill to do that?
I would say, again, we pivoted very quickly, realizing that we used our existing teams to help with it. Mm-hmm. Stephen Shores is our president, and he took the opportunity, and we had a monthly town hall address where every month he went on, everyone in the company logged in, on site, home office, every state. Wow. And live stream broadcast. Mm-hmm. Since it was live stream, we couldn't have open dialogue because we had 1,000 people logged in. was a live stream Q&A, and he would talk for about 15 minutes, and then it was 15 minutes of type your questions, and people could anonymously type anything. It could be about the growth of the company, it could be about the struggles, it could be something they're concerned about, and Stephen was addressing them in real time. So we did a lot of things like that, and we started hosting a lot of everything went to video calls from phone calls, just anything we could do to keep that face-to-face interaction. And we started, like our recruiting team started using the wedge videos to where our applicants were getting to send us videos of themselves, shoot their paper in, just to keep that personality behind everything.
Right, which I think is really special that you guys have done and been able to continue to grow with that culture and all of that. So really exciting, and we cannot wait to see the growth that you guys continue to have. And so I guess with that, we're going to move into the IREM Georgia portion of this little interview. So tell us how you got involved with IREM, and specifically IREM Georgia.
Absolutely. So all of my involvement with IREM has been IREM Georgia. I've been in Georgia my entire career. And I was thankfully encouraged by one of my mentors when I was early in the industry at Greystar. Kelly Steele was instrumental in pushing me to get involved with IREM and IREM.
You always have that one person that just reels you in and you just never leave. So that's really, really great. Damien, you want to go with the next question?
Yeah, let's see here. What is one of your favorite memories that you've had thus far with IREM Georgia?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. You know, and I think just because it was my first experience with it, I will say one of my favorite memories is the very first global summit that I got to go to. You know, I was involved with IREM, I was participating in the committees, I was doing all of that, but I hadn't really done anything outside of our chapter. And RangeWater Matrix at the time back then, we were a nomination for a REMI award. So myself and someone else from our team, Lisa Rozier, got to go to the global summit to be there representing Matrix for the awards. And it was out in San Diego. So it was also my first trip to San Diego. I mean, what a great city to get to go to. But just seeing the whole impact of IREM as an organization outside of just Georgia. And it was really understanding then what I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Anna actually had the opportunity to go to the Global Summit this year, and you were there, and it was a really, really great time. I know for myself, coming as a student, you know, I kind of sat back and looked at the situation and was like, you know, what am I really going to get out of this? Like, am I going to be able to get a lot out of it? And then being there that week and just meeting all of the people from around the country and different parts of the industry and different companies from all different aspects of life, it was really eye-opening of like how big this industry actually is and what they actually accomplish on the day-to-day. And it was really, really awesome to see all of those accomplishments from all the different companies.
Yes, I definitely agree. And it was really amazing to just be in that community, and everyone just wants to help everybody. And all of us are competitors at the end of the day, but it's incredible how friendly everybody is. And like I said, everyone just wants everyone to be successful. And it's like, how can I help you? Who do you know? Blah, blah, blah. So it was really great to just be in that environment and meet so many incredible people like yourself and just build on those relationships that are going to last a lifetime. And for me too, that experience, just the Global Summit, will be a highlight of my career going forward. So I'm really—
well, yeah, you were also recognized in many different ways, so it should be.
Yes, exactly. That one, it was nice to be recognized as well. And again, just meet everybody through that way. But our next question is, what is one way this year that you hope to impact the members of IREM Georgia?
You know, our whole philosophy, I can't talk, is unlocking your potential.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we added this year is our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. That wasn't a committee that we've had in previous years. It's a big initiative for IREM headquarters, and we wanted IREM Georgia to carry that initiative. So we did add the local committee to our committees this year. And it's taking that and combining it with unlocking the potential and helping us reach out past our inner circles, reach out past the people that are already participating in IREM or that you think are just like everyone else, and get IREM out to the masses. Let people know that IREM is there, because I had been in the industry for years before I ever even knew about IREM or about the CPM. And even when I filled out the application, I really didn't know what I was becoming a part of. So it's, getting that message out and letting them know without having to, because not everybody's going to be able to go to a global summit. What are you a part of at the local chapter that represents so much more in the world?
For sure.
Moving on to our next part here. What is one thing or something that you would like to see the IREM Georgia chapter do this next year?
So, I think I kind of combine those two together. And I want them to make that splash and to make that name and get more people involved and to get more people understanding what we represent. One thing I think we try to do every year, and we still strive to figure out the right mix and the right way to do it, is do more cross-referencing with other associations. Everybody has an association. You've got the associations associated with the apartment industry. You've got the associations associated with the commercial industry, and you've got industrial. Everybody has their own groups. Then we have IREM that represents all groups. I would like to see us intermingle and cross the lines between all of those associations more to work together, versus our members feeling like they have to participate in one or the other and that they have no synergy between them.
That's a really good point. I never really thought about it that way, but it's really important to just, again, feel like everybody is included and that everyone, because they do have something to offer, and IREM sees that and recognizes that. So that's really incredible. So before we leave, what advice do you want to leave or knowledge you want to share with our IREM members and real estate partners before we head out today?
I will admit, and I hit on this a little bit, and I said I was going to talk about it later, is in my career, it took me too long to get completely immersed in IREM. So a mentor that encouraged me to fill out my application and become a candidate, and I did. And then I think I took one course at that point in time, got busy, and I changed jobs. I went to a different company. And it was always in the back of my mind, I need to take a course, I need to do this, I need to do that. But it was like, oh, I'm at this new job, I've got to figure it all out, and I've got to get comfortable here. And so, I got about a year into that company, and I was like, I really need to go back. And I took one course. And then another year had passed, and I had been on my way to RangeWater for a while at that point. So then I finally got to RangeWater, and it was, Tracy Bowers was my supervisor here, and she was pushing me. She's like, we need you to finish your CPM, because at the time it was, again, 6,000 units. We were trying to build this company. She's like, I need that accreditation behind you. So she really pushed me to finish it. And then she wanted RangeWater to be an AMO. And so I was like, okay, I need you to get the executives so we can get the AMO. But for me at that point, I had probably been a member of IREM and a CPM candidate for the better part of 4 years. And I hadn't finished my CPM. I hadn't gotten involved at the chapter level. I wasn't doing committee work. So it took me way too long to get involved. So that would be my advice to anyone, is immerse yourself, whether you're a CPM candidate or if you're just an associate member, if you're an industry partner, immerse yourself, get involved, make those connections. For me, Kelly Steele was the one that got me to put that application in, but then it was Tracy Bowers and Dr. Debbie Phillips who really pushed me. And I'll never forget Dr. Debbie Phillips looking at me years ago, and she was like, you're going to be president one day. You're going to be president. And I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, you're going to be president one day. So, it was that push, and I needed that to get involved. And once I jumped in and got involved, I've never looked back. But waste those years. Don't waste that time. The connections you make, the education you get out of it is priceless, and get it as early as you can.
Yes, which is what Damien and I are trying to do. We're trying to hop in as soon as possible and stay here as long as possible.
Yes, we have all the credits to give to Dr. Debbie and Dr. Brown there at UGA for getting us in. They were like, you have to go into IREM. It doesn't matter if you're a student. We have student memberships. Like, you have to get in there. You got to see what it's all about. And I've definitely been privileged and honored to be a part of the IREM Georgia chapter. And now me and Anna sitting on the PR committee. And
yes, I love it. I love how our student membership has grown over the years. I love it.
Well, Karen, we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day with your schedules with RangeWater there, and sitting down and talking to us just a little bit about IREM Georgia and what makes IREM Georgia the chapter that it is today, and a little bit about yourself as well. So thank you again for sitting down with us, and I hope you have a great day.
No, thank you guys for having me. You too. Have a great afternoon.